Hi, I'm Neil O'Grady, osteopath, and today I want to explain to you 3 fundamental core exercises called the Big Three. And the person who called them the Big Three is a Professor Stuart McGill. He's a world-renowned authority on back mechanics. He's written a book called The Back Mechanic, which is for lay people who aren't physiotherapists or osteopaths or chiropractors or sports injury therapists to understand their own back pain. But it's a very good book, it's very practical and very consistent, and I prescribe to a lot of what's in it in terms of rehabilitation. And what he explains is that the core muscles, the core musculature is designed to stop movement, and the arms and legs are designed to initiate movement. So what you want is a strong core which would act not unlike a corset, which would keep everything tight. So you don't want too many micro movements in the core when you're trying to lift and move something. You want a core that's able to contract and tighten and brace and protect your spine in lifting. There's probably a misconception of what core is. It's not 1,000 sit-ups. In true core exercises, generally the core is static. So either the core is static, like a plank, which I'm going to explain, or a side plank, or the arms and legs are moving while you're trying to stabilize your core. So you're trying to keep it stiff. So when I say a stiff core, I don't mean a stiff spine. I mean a core that's able to stiffen to protect your spine. Okay, so what are the core muscles? Like the rectus abdominis is your abdominal muscles. That's not really what we're trying to affect here. That's really gets you to sit up out of bed. So people do loads of sit-ups and it develops the six-pack. And if that goes from your sternum, your xiphoid process, down to your pubic symphysis. It's not an unimportant muscle, but it's not a true core muscle in the sense of what braces your spine. So you've got these interwoven layers of muscles. So behind your rectus abdominis, you will have your internal and external obliques. And in behind that, yet again, you'll have one called the transverse abdominis. The transverse abdominis for all the world is like a lifting belt. So if you've seen somebody in the gym with a lifting belt, a lot of times we don't need a lifting belt if we have a strongly developed core and a transverse abdominis. Unless you're lifting, unless you're a power lifter or you're a bodybuilder and you're lifting heavy weights and your max ones, you might use a belt. But having a strong core is really something that we should strive for. So the internal and external obliques are involved in a little bit of rotation and bracing, and behind that, the transverse abdominis is like a lifting belt. As I said, it goes from your linea alba around to your thoracolumbar aponeurosis fascia near your spine. And what it does is it braces. And what do I mean by bracing? And bracing is a prerequisite to do the Big Three, which I'm going to show you in a moment. So bracing is, imagine someone was going to strike you in the stomach with a stick or a broom handle or something like that, or punch you in the stomach, and you would brace. So if I push my fingers in here like that, bracing will be popping the muscles out. It's not sucking in air. I'm having a conversation here with you and I'm bracing while I'm talking. So I'm pushing out against my fingers. So I'm popping those muscles out. It's not a sit-up. What a sit-up tends to do over time with someone with a back injury is like bending a coat hanger. You bend it enough times and it'll break and you can damage the spine, or it can cause irritation. Whereas when you're bracing, you're working your core and the local muscular endurance of your core muscles without bending anything. So they're very safe exercises for most people, and they're ones that I would often prescribe in rehabilitation, provided they don't hurt and when the person is navigating out of pain. So at this point I will have treated them maybe a couple of times or more. We will have done the soft tissue work, maybe mobilization, manipulation, dry needling, whatever else we need to do. They are now gone from a stage where they have a lot of pain, that they are not in pain, and then I will then start to dose these exercises in when they're ready, when they're out of pain, feeling better. They will get these exercises so that they won't have a repeat or a relapse of pain, so that their core is then strong enough to support them in movements. With a lot of people, they just have a very weak core. They'll try and lift something, they'll have strong arms and legs. And you'll also see this with people who are quite well built in the shoulders, arms and legs, but they got this weak link here and their arms and legs are strong enough to lift a big object, but this is not, and this is the weak link, and this is what breaks. So the Big Three. So as I said, bracing is a prerequisite for it. What do they look like? The first one is called the curl up, and this looks actually very easy, but it's a very safe and a very nice exercise to start with, and it's actually a little bit harder than you would imagine. So what I will do is I'll remove the pillow here, and for this you'll probably be lying on the floor on a yoga mat at home. I'll lie here like so, and I'll bend one, I'll put my head on the floor, I'll bend one leg Doesn't matter which one, okay? It's just to put a little bit of flexion in the spine so that with a straight leg it can close your facet joints. It could be uncomfortable for some people lying their back. So I'm like this, doesn't matter which leg is bent. And with my hands, I put my hands in behind the small of my back, into the hollow of my back like that. The first thing I'll do in this position is I will brace, okay? So I'm starting down there, bracing. I'm bracing now. I lift my elbows up like so, to this point, and then lift my head. But my head is not lifted here. It's lifted not even a centimeter. So my head is, it's like it's on a weighing scale measuring 0. It's just a centimeter off the floor. Now I'm bracing. I'm still bracing. I'm holding this for 10 seconds. It's harder than it looks for a lot of people. And then I lower it down, okay? I'll take a little break for maybe 10 or 15 seconds if I need it. And then I'll brace, elbows up and hold. And I'll do repetitions of that. And with these, I tell people just start small. So maybe just do 2 repetitions to begin with, or 1 even, depending where they are, or what their age profile, fitness, and what kind of an injury they're coming back from. And then gradually maybe progress to doing 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 reps, maybe even up to 6 reps, okay? So that's one exercise. That's called the curl up. The next exercise is called the side plank. The side plank is a very good exercise for stabilizing the core. It'll work your quadratus lumborum a lot, and it will also work your external internal obliques to keep everything nice and tight. It's quite a challenging one. He often prescribes it in 10-second intervals, and that's probably a good way for somebody coming back from quite a serious injury. This can be, of the 3, probably the one that I put in last if someone is returning from injury, and it would look like this, okay? So this is what a side plank is. My elbow is here, I'm like that, and I'm in a straight line, okay? That's a side plank. So you could go for 10 seconds, you could drop out of it, take a little break, and then you could try another 10. You might only get 2 the first time. For some people, that's too much. I might get them to go on the knees and not be like that, not in a banana shape like that. So that's a nice start for some people. It immediately is less stress, so you can start there and do that. For some people, they can't even do that, so he has them lean against the wall and do it. So I'm leaning against the wall at an angle like that. You might do that. It could be an elderly person, and you can start there. But that's the side plank. So what I tend to do if I'm uninjured and I'm training is I just pepper these in at the end of the workout. Core exercises can be boring. People don't like them. They'd rather do the big movements like the bench presses and the squats and deadlifts and all that stuff, which is great. But what is nice is to pepper in a couple of these at the end of the workout. So I might do a curl up one day, I might do the side plank or the next one. And over the course of the week, I'll be doing them consistently every week, so my core is strong, and then that allows me to do the other stuff that I like doing. And also for someone who's rehabilitating a back injury, I think these are really good exercises. So that's the side plank. I tend to go for 1 set for amount of time, but that's when my back is good. But for someone rehabilitating, I would just do it in intervals. Okay, so maybe 10 seconds break, 10 seconds break. The third exercise is called the bird dog. You may know it as the Superman. I call it the bird dog just to be true to him and to give him credit for it as the exercise that he has included in this trio of exercises. So the way the bird dog goes is you will go on all fours like this, and what you will do is you'll push one heel out like that, straight leg heel, and one fist out like this. You'll notice with people who have a weak core, in some of the coaching I do with kids in athletics, the ones with weak core, they'll wobble all over the place, or somebody with a weak core may not be able to hold this position, which is an indication that they're missing the link, and all the fascial slings and muscular slings that run obliquely across the body are weak. So this is an important one. He recommends you hold this for 10 seconds, not longer, just 10 seconds, and then between each 10-second effort, you can bring the hand in like that, sweep the floor, he calls it, that's your break, and you'll go out again like that. It's not a slack line, it's like you're pulling a tight cord from your fist to your heel. You might do 2 or 3 repetitions on the right, and you might do 2 or 3 repetitions on the left. That's 30 seconds time under tension on each side. That's a lot, so that might be your starting point, and then you might progressively increase that up to a point where you say this is all I need to do, and just maintain that and include that on a consistent basis to increase your overall core strength. So those are 3 excellent exercises to build up your actual core strength. I would recommend that you do those. And the caveat is, if you have pain or if you're sore, I wouldn't do them. That goes for everything. There's a certain amount of discomfort with some rehabilitation, but not pain. I would say above 3 out of 10 is too much pain. With these, you should have little or no pain. These should be consistently building up your core and making you stronger, giving you more local muscular endurance around your core muscles. Okay, so that's it. That's the big three. If you like the content, please hit the like and subscribe. If you want me to do any other videos and anything else, let me know in the comment section and I'll do my best to facilitate. Thanks for watching. See you next time.